This is the TDS starting in Courmayeur, Italy, and you see the runners just crossing the starting line. Some with lights, some without. It's dark here in France and Italy, and some will make their way without a light, just using what's left of the moon.
So for those of you familiar with the region, so we're in, you can see the runners here at the start in Courmayeur. The course at the start has been slightly changed for this year. The thinking being to kind of stretch out the pack at the beginning before they begin the first climb of the day. For those of you who've run CCC or the UTMB, they're running the reverse of that section of the course where you're coming down from the ski area of Courmayeur.
Yes, the TDS is the acronym used for the Tour de Duc de Savoie, and these runners are traveling from start to finish 119 kilometers. So they're packed up, ready to go, in what some consider to be the most difficult or more difficult of the races.
Yeah, Randy, I agree with you. I think the TDS is almost one of those, the unsung hero of the races here across the UTMB festival. And I think you've run the TDS, and I think it's the distance, the elevation are two difficult things. I think the third one is the terrain is actually far more rugged than perhaps the other courses that we're going to be covering this week.
Yes, and hopefully we'll have the cameras out, and the people watching will be able to see that. There are people from, in the festival of races here, there are people from 87 different countries.
So there's many ways that we're going to be able to follow the runners during the next 5 days. And once we have daylight, then I think our helicopters are going to be up and about, and we're going to get some fantastic views of the region and the runners, so you can see them in this dreamy environment.
The start of a big race is always going to have these moments when people are going by slowly, particularly near the end of the pack and the end of the group that's starting. It can be a little frustrating. The energy and psychological preparation, the mental preparation that's been put into this till now is just unbelievable. The physical preparation, and now it gets unleashed.
So to help the crowd, there's across the 5 days, there's about 50,000 spectators out there cheering everyone on. Then all of the race bibs, you can see the numbers on the runners. There's a small flag so you can see which country the runner is from, and there's also their first name, rather large, so you can cheer everyone on as if they're your best friend.
We'll try to bring you more information about these runners as we get to see them more clearly. Their name flashes by us just like it does you. We see what you see, and you may be able to recognize your friend and loved one there getting out to the start line, and we'll bring you information that we have as we get it.
Another new feature that we've got here this year at UTMB Live is we're going to have some of our guys in the crew out there running with cameras, so we'll be able to actually do on-trail interviews with some of the runners in the middle of the pack and also the guys at the back. So whilst obviously everyone's super interested in seeing who's winning the race, we're going to be hanging out with the middle of the pack and the back of the pack too.
And here you see the first runners coming up. One with a light seems to be illuminating the trail for the others around him. And they're coming up this dirt road up the hill.
Conditions are perfect this morning for the kickoff of the trail run. Just walking through Chamonix this morning, it was incredibly warm. So the hydration is going to be such a key thing in this race.
And you could see, for those of you in the United States, it's very popular to hike and to race, do trail running racing with the sticks, they call them here, or poles. We call them in the United States, and they're like ski poles. They're super lightweight. They're collapsible, so they can be put into a pack, and the runners feel that aids them in bringing other muscles to the job. Some of the racers you'll see have these sticks or poles, and some do not. I'd say about 90% have the poles over here.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say, Randy. I think for those at the front, you may find on the first hill that they're tucked in their pack, but the kind of ruling is that if you start with poles, you need to finish with poles, so you have to carry them. So that's one thing to consider. But I've been out there in the past with Scott Jurek on the trails, and he's kind of like, let me try these poles and see if it's what you Euros are up to. But it's not for everybody, but it's very popular, and it's seen certainly at the front. It's helpful on the way up, and those people at the back, super helpful on the descents.
Yeah, you just saw some people going by, one person carrying their poles, another person without poles, out of their pack at all. So all of these are kind of the strategic decisions that the runners are making when they're out there on the trail. There are many of these things that people do over the course of the race, and it separates them sometimes by seconds or minutes, and sometimes not at all. But it is the style, it's the preparation that the runner's done that allows them to make those choices.
So it just putting it into perspective, it's kind of, here we are on, it's Wednesday, right, Randy? Wednesday, Thursday? I've kind of lost track of time already.
Yes, we're here Wednesday morning.
It's Wednesday morning, and so the guys at the back of the pack, they will not be in until Thursday afternoon. So if you think about what you're going to be doing between today and tomorrow, these guys are going to be out on a little bit of an adventure for the next 2 days, almost.
Exactly. This is a good preview of what's going to happen tomorrow on the CCC also. If the viewers look up and into the mountains beyond, the CCC race goes right up into that direction. This race goes around the mountain in a clockwise fashion, and the CCC race will go around the mountain in a counterclockwise fashion. And so the down at Courmayeur is the start of both races, but the runners go around clockwise in one direction and counterclockwise for the TDS.
Yeah, and you can see in the background the church over there in the centre of Courmayeur, and that's kind of on that corner. That's where the road kind of kicks off and heads up towards the Refugio. That's kind of about kilometre 80 in the UTMB, and its first couple of K in the CCC.
It's an important, as you point out, an important turning point in the center of town, a landmark as every runner who is in this race passes by during the entire event. So it's one of those crossroads, if you want to call it. It's that church right there in Courmayeur.
I think the first kind of indication of how we're getting on with the leaders will be when they get to up to Col-Chacru before they then finish up the climb to Montfabre. So we'll start to get an indication about the early kind of leaders. These guys are obviously in for the long haul, so they're kind of taking it easy. And also, when you've got so many people, you're not going to make much headway at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm looking at the people and how they're prepared. If you're watching this, you may have been a trail runner yourself or know others who have. And it's the one thing that always strikes me is the diversity of the kind of packs and ways in which people are bringing hydration and water and food and carrying their gear. And you see some people will have the water bottles on their chest high, and others will have water in bladders that you won't see at all because it's in these bladders that come, they're located on their back, in their pack, and with a hose that comes around to the front.